We do have trustee McKenzie now, so the board does have a quorum. If the board would like to, or Pete, if you want to call the meeting to order, and then because Laura will not be participating, we'll need a temporary chair.
Okay. It being 7:02 p.m., I'm calling this special board meeting to order. First order of business would be to do the pledge. So, everybody would please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I move to nominate Claire McKenzie to chair our meeting for this evening.
Is there a second? Trustee Jones, you're on mute.
There. I second it.
Okay. Having a first and a second, a nomination and a second, I'll go ahead and call the roll. Trustee Sweeney.
Here.
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee McKenzie.
Here.
Okay, Trustee Carabota is still not in at the moment. The motion passes, so Chair, you can, or Claire, you can go ahead and chair the meeting, and then I'll go ahead and call the roll quick too, as long as we're waiting for Trustee Carabota. So we do have Trustee Sweeney is here, Trustee Jones is here, Clerk Gialam is here, Trustee McKenzie here. I also have Assessor Moylan Cry here. Township Attorney Carrie Lynn Kraftheffer is here. And Trustee Carabota should be joining us shortly. Go ahead, Claire, take it away.
We're here on the special township board meeting, and the first order of business is public participation. Do we have any public participation?
If there's anyone that wants to participate, if you can use the raise hand function or do something else to symbolize that you would like to address the board so we can recognize you.
Roger, are you raising your hand? Were you raising your hand, Roger, for public participation?
No.
Okay. Anybody want to participate? Okay. Doesn't look like anybody is wanting to participate. So we are on the approval of the April 13th, 2021 annual town meeting agenda that was in our board packet and available online.
And I wanted to talk to the board about this for a minute. So Maine Township is in the same boat as all the other townships in the state, which is that we don't know what's going to happen with the annual town meetings in the middle of a pandemic. I am expecting that Governor Pritzker will issue an executive order within the next week or so, allowing townships to postpone these meetings until it's safer. I've heard that the last executive order that he issued was subject to that required townships to get approval from their local health departments prior to calling the meeting. The health departments didn't like that language because they weren't sure how they could control town meetings, because annual town meetings of electors greatly vary between, having a few people to I've been to annual town meetings with thousands of people. So I'm expecting that he'll issue an executive order within a week or two, allowing townships to have their meetings sometime this year prior to December, but we just haven't seen that yet. In addition, for the township officials who are interested, TOI is doing a seminar on the annual town meetings on March 25th by a webinar.
We did receive, just to follow up on that, Carrie Lynn, we did receive an authorization letter allowing us to have it from Cook County Health Department, But yeah, I'm with you. We'll kind of wait and see what Governor Pritzker winds up coming down with here in the next week or so. Then also, just for the record, Trustee Carabota has joined the meeting.
Thank you, Peter.
So I would say the board should go ahead and establish the agenda. And then what other townships have been doing is they've been making the agenda, but they've been making a motion to approve the agenda. And well, you'll still have another meeting before the annual town meeting will take place. So you can decide at your next meeting if you do want to go forth and hold it or not. But I would say right now, just plan for it and go ahead. And I think Trustee Sweeney had a question.
Just a comment, Carrie Lynn. I think that answers my question, because the webinar that Toya actually put up said that we had to have this approved by April 1st, which is why I emailed you today on that. I'm like, we weren't even aware of that. So their webinar, really should be corrected, because I don't know how there could be approval if there's still a question, as to whether or not we're even gonna be able to have it. But it said we had to approve the agenda by April 1st. So I was pretty shocked about that hadn't come up in any of our board meetings before, that we needed to approve this.
Yeah, I think the issue is, again, that they're working with the governor's office. I talked to Jerry Crabtree on Thursday, and I did talk to my law partner, who's the Speaker of the House, and I know he's working with the governor's staff, because this is something that impacts all of the townships, and it's a pretty significant issue, because they're trying to wrestle the public's desire to participate in these things. And in some instances, electors have filed petitions to get their townships to do something. So you don't want to give townships the ability to indefinitely delay this, but on the other hand, you want them to be able to do them safely.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve the April 13th, 2021 annual town meeting agenda?
Sure, motion to approve the annual April 13, 2021 annual town meeting agenda.
Is there a second?
I will second with a requested amendment. If I can be recognized for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Trustee Sweeney.
Under new business, there's an award called the Sergeant Karen Lader Memorial Good Citizen Award. And I just want to, if we can, have that specified that is a, Clerk Gialamas, you can tell me whether that's a joint department nomination between you and the assessor's office, or is that a clerk's award?
In the past, we've had a board that reviews the nominations. If you want to be a part of that process, you're certainly welcome to. Last year, we wound up postponing it because of the pandemic. In the prior year before that, it was Assessor Cry, myself, and I believe Highway Commissioner Kazmierczak that reviewed the applications that came in.
So I would suggest that if this is April 13th and we haven't had nominations yet, is that what you're?
Yeah, I've received no nominations yet. I still have the 3 that came in from last year that I figured we would put into nomination for this year as well. And then, any new nominations that come along between now and then as well.
Okay, so just for clarification, I think you might recall that I had submitted an interest for that award, and I thought you had said that it was strictly something that you were going to make the decision on. So if this is a board decision, I mean, we don't have time to really vote on unless we do it on the 31st.
Well, it's not really a board. It's more just we've had a committee that has done it in the past that reviewed the nominations and came in. So it wouldn't necessarily be something from the board, but if you wanted to be a part of the committee that reviewed them, I certainly have no problem with that.
Okay, well, I'm not certain. We might have to have I mean, whether we would be ready for that, the 31st sounds, which is our next board meeting, sounds like that would not be.
Well, whatever applications come in between now and when the annual town meeting would be, I would submit, I can send you copies of all of them. Everybody can review them and then, email me back what your thoughts are or what your vote would be. And then, we could go by a majority of rule.
Okay, and then take a vote on that in our next board meeting?
Sure.
Okay, so that is, you know, that would be a public vote for the nominations. If we do it that way.
Well, again, it wouldn't necessarily have to be a public vote. I mean, we'd just be calling ourselves the committee for the, you know, Sergeant Karen Later Award. If you wanted to participate in that, again, I'm fine with that. So everybody would get one vote. We would, you know, make a decision based on the, you know, number of votes. And then if there's a majority, that would be the winner. Otherwise, we would, you know, have to get
Okay,
together.
is there something posted on the website for people to present nominations, or it's not been posted, right? It's just
It's
something,
posted. It's on the homepage.
oh, it is on the homepage?
Mhm.
Okay, okay, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, so any nominations that come in, I'll forward to everybody on the board if everyone would like to participate. Trustees Carabota and McKenzie, would you both like to be copied on that as well?
That'd be fine. Thank you very much.
And will there be a due date for that then?
Thank
Do we
you.
Need to set?
Dana, what do we have on there for the
Yeah,
due date?
I have to look that up. The due date, I think I have is like maybe 2 weeks before the annual town
Yeah, I was
meeting.
gonna say, I think it's the end of the month, which and then
Right.
usually we, you know, review them over a period of 2 or 3 days and then make our decision and announce it.
Okay. Sounds good. Then I don't have an amendment to make. So strike what I just had suggested originally to make that a department award.
But
If
you
it's
stand on your
13th.
second? You stand on your second?
I'm striking. Yes, I second. Correct. The agenda.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, can you call the roll?
Trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
and trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. So the next order of business is the presentation of tentative town fund / general assistance and road district budgets for discussion.
Okay, I just want to say really quickly, I do have the department heads present at this meeting, so if anyone has a specific question regarding department or program or event in a specific department, I do have department heads present, as you see, so they are here to answer any questions.
And thank you for that.
Thank you.
Of course,
Yes, thank
of
you.
course.
Great.
Okay. Can you just go run us through your proposed budget first for the town fund / general assistance?
So the proposed budget that I have included in the board packet, I am proposing for town fund, which if you want to look at page 8, you'll see a total of $4,125,118. So that's the first number to probably take a look at. Then we're also proposing a total in general assistance on page 10 for $638,912. And if you go to page 11, that's where you will see then a total. Obviously, we do add up town fund and general assistance. At the top of the page, you'll see for a total of $4,764,030. I know we don't compare budgets to budgets. We compare budgets to actuals. I don't know if hopefully you still have your the worksheet that I passed out at the meeting at the end of February. So I don't know if you wanted to flip to that or not. But let me flip.
Yeah, and before you do that, I do have that, so I was going to ask about that. On page 8, I just want to make sure we're right. The only thing I show on page 8 is the community services fund.
Right under that is the total town fund.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Right.
that's the total for everything.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay, so then just as a comment, how that compares to last year, because I printed out the budget for that too. It was 4,190,772. But then adjusted, taking the capital fund out
Right.
and the mainstreamers program fees put in,
Mhm.
it was 4,348,000. Okay, so just for clarification, that 4,125,000 includes the capital fund, right? Because that should be under the administration.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then as far as the mainstreamers program fees, it does not include that.
Correct.
That
You're
is,
saying the revenue from it?
because the revenue is 51,000. It's noted on page 12, and the expenses are 57.
Right, right. If you want to turn to the very last page, this is actually, these are numbers provided to me by Chris. So it will show you, this is Marie's, we call it like in and out money or checking account money. So normally, as the board remembers from the last few years, this usually ranges more in the $300,000 or $400,000
Right.
amounts.
Right.
Unfortunately, with COVID, we're at, as you see, 51,000 and 57,000 because everything was pretty much done on Zoom. Most of our programs, honestly, we did for free. I think Marie obviously can jump in at any time, but I think some of the programs we did charge, a few dollars here and there. That's how we wound up having having the 51 and the 57. So
Right.
This is really, really skewed from what we're used to.
Right, and I'm glad we
seeing on
budgeted
here.
less. I was actually making that point last year that I thought
Right.
during the pandemic, there was no way we were going to spend 407,000. That was
Right.
one of my objections to it because I didn't think that that could be possible.
Right.
But I know everybody wanted to keep it in just because, just whatever, just for
Yeah.
safekeeping, but, or for the placekeeper at the time. But anyway, I'm glad that that's the case. In past years, just for our viewers, it's so pretty much all the money that's spent in mainstreamers, we also charge for that money. So it's a wash. So what we spend, as in the program fees are actually brought in. In fact, we netted up 14,000 in the past year before this. Now
Right.
you're anticipating that it's going to be, our expense is going to be about $6,800 dollars more. So we're not going to net up in program fees. And I assume, is that because it's like on Zoom and you're expecting just the continued
For this fiscal year, right?
for mainstreamers program? Yeah.
Right. I mean, right now, again, we're continuing on Zoom. I'm assuming we're going to for sure go, through spring doing Zoom. The summer, Marie, do you want to comment? I'm going to have Marie jump in.
Yes, so we're still on Zoom officially. We're looking, hopefully, if the weather permits, we're hoping to be outdoors May. We're hoping to put up our tent again and do all our summer programming. We have a great lineup of entertainment for our members in the parking lot. We're going to totally utilize the parking lot. So we're going to kind of do exactly what we did last year, because this is still a very uncertain time. We don't really feel comfortable. We can't legally put anybody on a bus right now and cram a 55 passenger bus. So we'd rather be outdoors with everybody, and they're all looking forward to it.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you.
So you were going to go back to the actual.
So one thing I do want to point out, if you wanted to look at your worksheet on page
Is there any
10.
way you can share that on the screen? Because I can't get it up on my iPad for some reason.
Gosh, I don't have, let's see. I don't have it. Actually, I'm on my laptop here and I don't think I have it available. Does anyone have it where they're able to share it?
Share screen is at the bottom of the Zoom. So all you have to do is pull up your email where you sent it to us and then put it.
You have to
and then
open it
click
up.
Share screen and open it. So
Otherwise-
it's on everybody's Zoom.
Am I the only one who can't open it on whatever device they're on?
Well, I have it hard copy printed out. I
Oh.
just came prepared to read it online because it's easier for me to do it that way, but
If you want to just email it to me, I
I
will
can
look
try
at it
to
on my
put it-
phone.
okay. But last time, for some reason, that screen share didn't. What was the date you sent that to us?
The date of the last meeting, I think.
Was February 23rd.
Oh, do you have that email, Dave?
I did not search for the email yet. I've got the hard thing. It's dated February 23rd, 2021. I can see if I can find the email and forward it to you, Claire.
Oh, okay, and then I can look at it on my phone, or I'll switch.
Yeah. And of course, it'll work fine after the meeting.
Oh, wait, you said February, I'll look it up. Okay, I'll look it up on my phone, February 23rd.
February 23rd, yeah.
I'm just gonna email, I found it. I'm just gonna email it to you right now, Claire.
Okay, thank you.
That might be easier.
I mean, it would be better for sake of transparency to pull it up. So let me see if I can find it.
I had it up before, and
I just sent it to you, Claire. You should have it.
okay.
Like a couple seconds here. I sent it to your trustee account.
Okay,
That's okay.
yep,
Okay.
just got it, thank you.
Okay, of course.
Okay,
Is it dated the 23rd? Because now it's not showing the 23rd. Can you send it to me? And I'll try to see if I can get it up on the screen.
Dana, are you sending it to Susan?
Well,
There's a cover memo sheet that has the date, February 23rd.
Budget. Okay, let's see.
It says draft budget. The cover sheet has it.
you want
the
to send
date.
it to Susan so she can do it?
Here, I just sent it to your Yahoo account.
Okay.
Okay,
Not going through yet. Okay, there. Okay, so this is called the. Can you see this?
yes, thank
Yeah.
you,
Okay.
perfect.
So Dana, you tell me if, or
So I
Claire,
would say,
Dana was referencing page 10.
can you go down to page 10 at the bottom?
Okay, right there, right there. Oh, okay. So at the very bottom, so you'll see on the right, the 4.7 million. That is what I'm proposing for this draft budget in comparison to, I know you're not able to see kind of the headers now at the top, but that is in comparison to, oh,
you want me to move the top?
no, 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 no. I want you to stay where you're at. Okay, right next to it. So you're looking at the line that says total. Then to the left of that is 4.6 million and some change. That is actuals that we, for the fiscal year that we just got out of. And then the number then all the way to the left, the 4.8 million is actuals from budget year, fiscal year, I'm sorry, 2019-20. And I think I mentioned the last time in our meeting, I actually wanted to compare it to 2 years, only because this last year, being, a pandemic, our spending was not, what it normally would be. So what I wanted to point out is that what I'm recommending for town fund and for general assistance this year is the 4.7 million is a little higher than this past fiscal year, but still lower than what a normal year would be in our spending year when there is no pandemic occurring, which is the 4.8 million, which was actuals, not our budget. And I believe that is a $37,000 difference. I'm actually asking for $37,000 less. Now, this is town fund and GA. This is not taking into account that last page where I start to deduct the capital fund and Marie's mainstreamer money.
So the capital fund was not taken out of that.
Right,
of
this
the
is still,
4.1.
right, this is still including it. This is, I think, an easier way to look at the budget. It could get confusing. We can go ahead and look at the last page. But if you're looking at straight town fund and straight general assistance, this is kind of what we're looking at as far as expenditures going. And this is kind of what I'm recommending.
And if you average the two numbers, the 4.8 and the 4.6, what you're recommending is actually about $10,000 less than the average of those two, just as a little note.
Oh, well, thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's almost exactly 10,000 less.
Really? Okay, great. Great. Thanks for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you wanted to flip through the last page up to the next page, which is page 11, we can look at those numbers as well.
Susan, can you do that?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the hard copy. Here I
Okay,
am.
so right
looking.
there.
That doesn't help you.
Right. Okay, so this is where
Yeah.
we then we're adding in the mainstreamer money and the capital fund. So it gets a little bit confusing, but if you look at the very bottom line number for total appropriations, we're coming out with 4.5 million that I'm asking for in the budget as opposed to this actuals for the fiscal year we just got out of in February, which was 4.5 million, as opposed to the previous fiscal year at 4.9. Again, the 4.9 now is a little skewed because the mainstreamer program fees, we did collect 400,000. So
Right,
that
that
is
was
throwing
in
off
there.
that number a little bit.
That was in there.
That's in there, exactly.
Yeah.
We add in, so what we do, why this page looks so different, we add in the mainstreamer program fees, but we take out the capital fund. That's why I think it's easier probably to look at the last page for comparison purposes. But you can look at this as well.
Right. Well, because I'm trying to compare this to what I'm looking at, which was our budget that was approved from the year before too.
Oh, the actual
And-
budget? Okay.
Yes, I'm looking at the actual budget, not just the expenditures. And we
Okay.
are less than what
Yeah.
we budgeted for in the past fiscal year. So
Right.
the adjusted general town fund where it says for this year, you're asking for the 3,932 for the town fund, 3,932,418. That amount was 4,348,346.
Okay.
But that's because we added in the 407,000 that was budgeted for mainstreamers, and we know we're not spending anywhere near that. It's only 57, so it should be a lot less because
Right.
350,000 less. So
Right.
it should be closer to 3.9.
Mhm.
3.9 makes about sense, but it looks like it's just under that. So it's not higher than last year's budget, which is good. The general assistance is a little bit higher. It was 612. That was what we budgeted for last year, 612,106, 612,000. And now we're asking 638,000.
Right. And again, so I know Austin is here. So if Austin wants to jump in, I do want to remind the board So we flip-flop now with the pandemic with GA because so many people are unemployed. We actually, our numbers have increased. We've had a lot of people come in that need assistance. We have people, that, need food, need shelter, looking for jobs. I don't know, Austin, do you want to jump in on why your numbers actually increased?
Sure. They actually have been increasing lately. What we saw was a lot of people were being taken care of by unemployment, and it was very generous, the amount that they were receiving. So it actually pushed them out of qualifying for some of our programs, especially during the beginning and middle of the pandemic. I do have some concerns that this next year that just started is actually, we're going to see a big increase, and we're not asking for that much more, but I definitely think that there will be more. So I think me and Dana tried to come to a compromise on that.
Oh, sorry, you're seeing what I have on this, I apologize. Are you seeing what I have on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, was this the one? This is the one I was on, right? No, this is the budget.
Is that last year's? What do you have on there?
This is what
That's
I,
the one.
Okay.
okay, yeah, because I
Right.
was going to look at something else. Yeah. So yeah, that's just moderately different. I had some questions about the first page of the budget, Dana.
Sure.
The revenues that are expected, and that's why I'm wondering if I should stop screen sharing this, unless we want to continue to talk about this, and then I could put up the other, your actual budget and appropriation that we could screen share. That's what I was trying to look for.
Okay.
I have a million windows open. That's always my problem. Was there anything else we need to review on this?
I mean, unless other board members had other questions.
Anybody?
No.
No.
Okay. Okay, so I'll do it, stop sharing that. So my question was on the first page of the budget, because let me just talk to it. So the property tax that you accounted for coming in town fund was $1,911,872.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually not going to get that much because of the abatement that we talked about last board meeting that we have to ratify next board meeting. It's going to be more like, it's going to be $1,048,000, not $1,009,000. So that was just something notated. And
Well,
the other,
hold on 1 second. Right now, we brought in almost 1.6 million. And we do get money in February. With Cook County, I know we abated, but we don't know the exact dollar, with Cook County. So again, I guesstimated, I don't know if we're gonna get another 300,000. But I just, did my formulas and my calculations. So I know it might be a little high, but sometimes we do get some money that trickles in February.
okay.
But-
Well, yeah, this budget is for 2021/22, so it's March to March. And when we do the abatement, it's for, well, that too is for the fiscal year, not for the calendar year. So I'm just saying what we actually will tax is less than that, so that we would get as revenue. But, it's not, it still shows that our ending I should really pull this up, your budget ordinance. So I should pull this up on the screen and see what 2021. Does anyone have that handy open?
You mean the budget that we're looking at?
Yes.
I have it on my iPad, not on the computer, because it's easier for me. I could probably,
You know, Carrie Lynn, can I ask you a question? I mean, I know we abate, but we still don't get exactly to the tax dollar what we abate, do we? I mean,
No, because they take out the loss and cost, they take out any tax rate objection settlement. It's not,
Right.
I mean, we don't, you remember how we have this question all the time with the road district budget? And we never quite get what we levy for?
Yes,
To be precise.
it's the same thing.
right, so it's hard, again, it's such a guesstimate. It's so hard to know exactly what we might get in. Right, so I know that that we abated, the money after the levy, but I don't know if it's going to be that specific amount that will actually come in. It might be a few dollars in either direction.
Okay. Well, I guess there's a couple things that I wanted to go through in the budget. Beside that then was, so our elected officials' salaries, I just went through and added up what the new, much lower salaries that we put into place with our new ordinance for the next term of the elected officials' salaries for the 4-year term. And we have a lot more in elected official salaries. We have 163,000 budgeted. And I added up what the salaries are. It looks like it's 146,000. So I do know that when people pay in from healthcare, because the elected officials can get healthcare, that 25% goes into the pool that then comes into the town fund. So why is it that high? It's 163.
So the budget last year was 187 and it is now 163. It significantly went down. My assistant Vicky and I figured this out. I don't have the
Does
actual.
healthcare get included in that?
I believe it does go back into that. I actually don't have the exact calculations with me, but I can tell you we did figure it out and it is exactly 163. I can send
Okay,
that to you.
can you provide me the breakdown for that then when you
Yeah,
get
of
the
course.
chance?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Because that's higher than what I expected.
Right, but it is 25,000, about 25,000 lower than it was last year.
Okay. Another comment, Claire, I don't mean to be like, I guess I should raise my hand. I was gonna look for the actual board packet that we got for the meeting so that I could pull this up. But, I wanted to kind of talk about healthcare because how many total employees do we have on healthcare right now? And then I know that some of the healthcare, is been extended to the employees' families too. Although the way I read the current ordinance, I don't think the elected official healthcare would be extended to families. It looks like it's just the life insurance and the other, some of the other insurance, dental insurance and such. So, because it looks like I added up all the healthcare and it looks like we budgeted about $1 million for healthcare. And it looks like we have about 40 full-time employees. Is that correct?
That sounds about right, yes.
40 full-time employees?
I want to say about 40, yeah.
Okay, so we're spending about 25,000 on each employee, roughly speaking.
I mean, I don't know if you can look at it that way. So I know I sent you an email this afternoon about it being a variable. Health insurance is just, not a static number. So you can have an employee that works here who is, single. You can have an employee, who takes the single and spouse. You obviously can have an employee, who is married with children, and then they take the family plan. So I don't really know if it's fair to divide it up and say this is what you're spending per employee, because it is quite different. You can have an employee that works here and doesn't take the insurance because they're on their husband's insurance. It is quite different.
I think she's talking about an average, just to get a sense of an average.
Per person?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, that's just a
Right.
easy mathematical
Okay.
calculation, right?
Okay.
If it's 40 employees, that would be eligible for 40 full-time employees.
Okay.
Is that correct? Do we have 40 full-time employees?
So what I added up all the health insurance in the line items, and I'm coming out with 878,627. Did you say you came out with $1 million?
Well, I added the road. Yes, that was 800 some,
So
but
I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't speak about the road district.
yeah, I understand, but I'm just
so-
saying the cost to us in general for the township, the total township would include road plus town fund plus GA. So that's where it came out to over $1 million. That's being budgeted. Because the,
Okay, I'm
So-
only right now, I'm only commenting on, yeah, I don't know how many employees are on the health insurance in the road and bridge, or how many, take the health insurance or don't, that's a question for Wally or Dawn. But I know that town fund in GA, we spent 878,000.
mhm.
So
And
how
that's
many
another
employees?
143,000 for GA, for road.
I'm sorry?
It's another 143,000. That's why it's
Okay.
over $1 million, just over $1
Okay.
million.
How many employees are there in just town and GA?
So right now we have about 50 employees that work here. I don't have the number. I'd have to look. at the staff.
I thought it's 43 is what I thought the number was.
Okay.
Yeah, I went through and just looked at the directory, but I couldn't remember who's just part-time off the list. So it's not eligible.
I can get that to you. I don't have that in front of me. I can get you how many employees are part-time and get that to you.
So Dana, what you're saying is that if we wanted to do an average, we take the 800 with not including road, we
Okay.
take 878,000 divided by the 43, approximately 43.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, you can do that, sure.
Yeah, but when you look at it, you look at the whole township and you negotiate healthcare based on road too. So that's why it's like $1 million divided by 40 is 25,000. But
Oh, no, it'd be $1 million divided by 43 plus the road and bridge employees, which I don't have that number.
I added that into it. I just, looked at the-
43 includes the road and bridge?
well,
What's the number of employees? Is that?
yeah, I can't tell because I don't know who's for sure part-time
Okay.
in that list.
Because I don't think the 43 includes road and bridge last time I did all that, but it could. I don't know. I think 43 does not include the road and bridge.
Okay,
So I think you got to go 878,000 divided by 43. But then I'll stand to be corrected later if I'm wrong.
yeah. Well, the issue
regardless,
is
we're
whether
not-
we've talked before and for the last couple of years about looking at more of a market-based plan for healthcare, especially since we did the salary study and there were some salary increases. So I just think that we are, as everybody knows, we're limited, that the township pays 90% of the healthcare costs and the employees pay 10% of the premium. And that is because under the Affordable Care Act, you can't change that under a grandfathered plan. So it would be, wise to look at other plans, because if we continue down that path, that's a very large, the marketplace kind of looks at a bigger contribution from the employee, especially in light of the fact that we have all of the other healthcare plans as well, with dental and life and a couple of the other benefits that we offer. So I think that should be scrutinized and looked at.
Just to keep in mind though, for future board members, because none of us are going to be on the future
Yeah.
board, but for future board members, it's a one-shot deal. If you let go of this medical plan, they'll never be able to get it back. It's not available on the market generally. It's one of the best medical plans in the United States. The co-pays are very low. The coverage is absolutely excellent. I think it's greatly appreciated by the employees. Now, I don't think that, I know that because we've had employees stand up during our meetings and express that specifically. But we do have to look at that as a total of your benefits package. You'd have to take that 20,000 per employee and add that to as part of your salary and benefits package. So it's a decision that is a crucial decision in that you'll be taking away from the employee's benefits package,
Right.
and you'll be increasing their out-of-pocket costs for medical treatment, et cetera, which I don't know if at this time is a good idea, but that's up to the board to keep in mind whenever they're making these decisions. One shot deal.
Well said.
Mhm. Yeah. How does the total budget for this coming year compare to the actual last year? Did you add those numbers, Susan?
Well, I've got to go back to our screen that we had. I looked at it. So the actual last year that we just talked about, you know, unless I was going to ask you, Dana, I mean, do you expect anything different than, basically you're saying the actual was 4,500,000 based on that last page. That's,
One second, let me go back.
and actually, I just want to make a comment on that. So the 4,500,000, of which 3,882,745 is the town fund, and 617,394 was the general assistance. So, but what would have been included in that actual then was, I think we spent, what did we spend, roughly 51,000 out of capital fund? So even though you deduct the capital fund on that page that we just talked about, you add in, you did account for what we actually spent out of the capital fund. That was in those actual numbers, I assume, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The 50, I think it was close to 51,000. Am I correct?
Right.
Something like that?
Right.
Okay, so Claire, in answer to your question, the total appropriations that we actually spent, and unless there's things that might change this month, I don't know, because looked like we had more money left from the January income statement, but you think that's pretty accurate, Dana?
It's pretty accurate. I want to say in January, what did it look like? About 200 and some $1,000.
Yeah, we were under. for
Right.
Town fund and actually for road district too.
Right. I
We're not
think
talking about that.
right.
So in answer to your question, Claire, we're talking about budgeting. So we spent 4,500,139, and this request for appropriation is 4,900,000.
I thought it was 4,571,000.
Right. Yes, Susan, I think you're looking
Oh,
at the
I'm
wrong
sorry, I'm
number.
looking at the last page.
So I'm asking
Sorry, that was the old one. Sorry.
4.5, which is only a $71,000 increase,
Yes.
which I also just want to reiterate too, that we're coming out of a COVID year. And I'm hoping that the next few months, hopefully we get things back on track where we can really open things back up.
Mm-hmm.
So my question was about the health insurance. You gave us the total of 870,627 for the total for town fund and GA.
Right.
Was that the actual for 2021?
That is, no, so for 2021, it was 829,000. And in the budget that I'm presenting is the 878. I also added up actuals in fiscal year 1920, and it was 874,000.
So
So
now,
you
why
put a
are we
3%
budgeting
increase?
for,
Is that what you put?
sorry,
Oh, I apologize.
why are we increasing the budget again for health insurance when we were at like our, I would say, a very high point?
So in 2021, we were at 829, and I'm going to 878. It's not so much that we're increasing the budget. what happened this last fiscal year is we had lost several staff members and we did not replace them. So obviously when, without replacing a staff member, you not only lose the salary, you also, are not paying out their health insurance. I would like, in all honesty, I would like to replace a couple of these people. One, we lost our main receptionist, Tracy, and we have not had a main receptionist for over a year. I really, really would like to replace her. We've had people, jumping in that spot. We also had a lot of our building monitors didn't work many hours because we were closed for so many days and so many weeks. We had a couple, Rich can jump in on this. We had a couple mainstay staff leave that we have not replaced. And we actually are actively looking for a therapist resigned. Ann Camerano no longer works here that we want to replace. So we have had several staff members, leave for one reason or another. And that's why the health insurance number actually decreased. But, once those positions are replaced, if they're full-time, obviously they will be receiving benefits.
But aren't some of those that you mentioned part-time, like the monitors?
Well, the building monitors, right. So the only thing
the
with the building
receptionist
monitors is the salary, obviously, in our salary line item,
No, I'm
will
just
kind of jump
focusing
around.
on the health insurance. I'm sorry.
Right. So that would be several of our, several of our full-time employees that left and we didn't replace those positions.
Because that's almost $50,000 of an increase.
Right, but I think a truer number to look at is the previous fiscal year in 1920, where it was 874,000, and that's when we actually had those positions filled.
Did you take a percentage increase as well for an assumption that the same plan with an increased cost?
What I did is I just took actuals, and I did a 7% increase.
7%.
7%, right. So I know last year, I think it was 4. There have been years where it was 6, 7. I think many years ago, with a different administration, it was 9 at one point, but that was many, many years ago. So I averaged at 7. We're hoping it's lower. It could be lower. But again, this is just a draft.
Yeah, if you take the number of full-time employees estimated at 43, and you divide it into that 878,627 figure, you get 20,433 per employee if it comes to medical. If we're increasing the amount by 50,000, that would be a cushion to allow for 2.5 additional new employees. That's right. So I got it right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Claire. Thank you, Dana.
Okay. Thank you. Does anybody have any other questions?
I think I was looking at the individual, departments to see what was level from year to year versus what went. Now I'm trying to remember if this was last year's budget I was comparing to, so not the actual expenditures. And it looks like admin has gone up about 30,000 from what was budgeted. The commodities and other expenditures went down, which is good. The assessor's department is going up 30,000. And it looks like that's coming primarily from salaries. Of 20,000 more. So I don't know, we could comment on that. Is there a reason why the assessor's department was 357,000? Now the request is for 387.
Well, the year prior, you put me down I mean, had 192,000 and you put me down to 190. And now I'm over budgeted for that line item because I was told I needed to do that. And it just was not correct for what you did. But of course, we tried to lower everything, but now we have to be back to reality. My staff is working from home, but using their computers, using their iPhones, using their copy machines to make copies of everything that we've had to do through the pandemic. I think that you need to get them back to reality of what they have done. And I'm under budgeted with them right now in their salaries. So I need to get that back up. I mean,
What
seriously,
assumption did you make in salaries? Because it looks like you went from 195
I was at 192 the year before. I
to
got
208.
190, 192. Yeah, I got pushed down. So, I mean, you guys try to cut departments, but
By
you have to
$2,000.
realize, I mean, I have to work with people that need to get paid. I can't reduce their salaries.
Okay, so this looks like it's a 10%,
And also,
8% increase.
I've been asking for, I need another person to put files in that I need to get transferred into accounts for everything to Cook County. And I don't have that. I had no help this year. I mean, I've been inundated. I showed you my numbers of our telephone calls, of our appeals that we've done, and the exemptions that we've done. We've been inundated. Cook County has been closed. You can't go down there. You can't go to Skokie. Everybody has been in our office and trying to get a hold of us and trying to take care of things for them. It's just astronomical. And I have people using their devices at home now. We need to get this back into the realm of things of
So
what we've done with.
Can I just get clarification then? Is your assumption
Okay.
to hire a new person, or is this to increase salaries of your existing people? Is
Plus, yes,
both?
both, yes. Because the people that I have working for me, they've used all their own equipment, their cell phones, their computers. They print out things that have to be printed out in their home offices. I mean, seriously, I have to give them something, a consideration for that. And these people are not 100, they're not triple digit people. They work at a minimal salary.
Isn't
Not-
that what, can you comment on what went up then, like the miscellaneous? Didn't we agree to give some kind of expense for home people using their computer and,
No,
per
you
employee?
didn't. I
There was
mean,
something-
I've been in line with everything else in that. You put me down in salary. I was at 192 the prior year. And now you put me down to 190 to just get me down. I mean, these people have to get paid. I'm over budgeted on it.
What's the
They-
$1,200 for in miscellaneous?
$1,200.
Well, I'm
where?
just asking you, that wasn't in there before.
Where are you looking at, Susan?
Miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
I didn't know what is
$1,200.
miscellaneous, if that was some accommodation for.
I'm looking at my thing here. Miscellaneous. Well, because last year we overdid that. I mean, it was at 177. I spent a little bit more money on that line item. I mean,
No, I'm just asking.
am I-
Don't be defensive. This is just a budget meeting and we're trying to understand what it is you're asking for. So
I mean,
the fact
I don't get any money coming in to the assessor's office. I don't get money coming in like general assistance or with the senior or with anything else, the food pantry. I work off of, my people working and spending their time, their
So
money.
what percentage raise are you assuming here, and and are you talking about hiring a part-time person is assumption?
I was trying to do that because I needed to put everything into the computer to do something for everything that we had to do to put everything online and get rid of all our files. So in the essence of things, I purchased some scanners so we can scan. And I was looking for a little bit of a part-time person to work for another $6,000 to contribute to what we had to do to be able to do that. And of course, projecting to put my people a little bit more money into the perspective of what they had to do from home to use everything, their computer, their phone, their paper, their computers, to everything, expedite everything that we had to do with all the appeals.
So is that what some of the miscellaneous is for their computers
Sure.
and their papers? Is that what that's covering?
Yes, but not only that, but I think in the raises for what they had to do. It's not significant. It's minimal. I mean, for what they do and what you took away from me the prior year, I was at 192 for my budget, and you put me down to 190 for their salaries. So
it's $2,000. So you're talking about $2,000 that we reduced. And that was a real hardship. Is that correct?
yes, it was. Thank you, Dave. Yes, it was. I appreciate that. And
No, I'm
They-
saying that's your position, that from your observation.
you know what, they're salaried, so you know what, they put in extra hours for me. And I had no help this last year. We had people stressed out in every department helping out because we lost employees. 2 years ago, I had people that I could depend upon or someone transfer over to help my department when we're so engaged with the public. Have not had the opportunity. My people have worked overtime, worked hard. You got to give them something, and you want quality people to work at the township, you got to support them. You got to give it to them.
So remind me, how many employees do you have that are active?
3.5.
3.5 employees.
Besides myself. And I'm there,
Now the half you mean part-time?
part-time.
All right, so
Nope.
you have three full-time employees, one part-time employee.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And you saw my numbers. I put my numbers out to you.
Well, and now what you're saying, because the department has put everything online, you must proceed online. There's no more traveling downtown to give any docs. There's no more faxing. There's no more, everything.
Oh, no, we still have to do that.
You have to
We still
fax?
have- Yeah, we have to do filing downtown. We have to, in our situation now is we are in a different realm of things, because before we could just put things a little bit online, but right now we have to take the applications from our constituents and have them sign a doc saying that we can do their signature, a DocuSign online. So we have to do that with them, and then we have to process it. So Cook County is a different realm of things. My people are working like double time to get this done for Cook County, to do all their exemptions.
But
And-
it's just, I'm not to interrupt you, but
Okay.
isn't it correct that the Cook County assessor now is doing everything online? They're
Yeah,
requiring everything, they're requiring everything online.
Here's
sorry?
the problem, Dave. I'm going to tell you one of the problems. They dropped a lot of our seniors off of their exemptions. And we have people that are 90, 95 years old. They got dropped from their
Well,
exemption.
no, I understand that, but they're doing
Yeah.
everything online now at the Cook County
Mhm.
Assessor's Office, correct?
And
Is that
correct.
correct? All right, correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know,
thank you.
can we get back to the budget? I mean, we're like straying off into like, you know, department specific stuff.
Okay.
Susan, do you have any other questions?
Well, I mean,
about-
I guess I was just, that was one department and it's going up by 30,000. So I wanted to understand the rationale for that. And I think it's important that we understand the underlying presumption there is that there's salary increases built in there as well as a part-time person. So,
Yeah.
And so the clerk's office actually is reduced by, it was 186,000. It's down to 172. So that's, that looks, obviously there's some services that haven't, I'm sure that it's been cut back and we no longer do, well, we haven't done city stickers for the last couple of years. So that was a significant portion of the work that was done in the clerk's office before that we no longer have. The OEM looks like it's the same. I'm just commenting so everyone is on the same page here. Mainstay went from 578,776 down to 532. So that's a $50,000 decrease. Rich, I'm assuming that's because in some ways I would think that we'd be, there'd be more therapists need and whatever for mental health. Maybe you can comment what the specific, change and reduction is in Mainstay. I mean, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, the main reason for the reduction is that the beginning of last year, we had a full-time office manager, salary and benefits, and due to providing telehealth services, once that person left that position, we did not need to replace them. And since then, over the last year, we've done a lot with modernization, with moving to electronic medical records, doing a lot more things in an efficient way than we did previously. So we don't actually have a need for somebody to be in that position full-time any longer. Perhaps part-time when we do return to providing services in the office again, but we won't need a full-time with benefits position. That's the main difference.
Yeah, I was glad to see that transition with so much more online. It just makes more sense and cost savings every year from there on
Yeah,
out.
it's working well.
Great.
Yeah, good job, Richard. Thank you.
Right. And that's pretty much everything with the exception of general assistance, and general assistance admin has gone up from 443,000 to 460,000. So that's an increase of 20,000. Any comments on that, Dana? I know Laura's not here.
Hold on one second. Let me get to my page. Okay, let's see, GA. Where are you looking from? 638?
I was just looking at budget year to budget year.
Oh,
I mean, I know we look, we really try to look at actuals.
right.
So, but it's a higher budget than what was requested last year
Right.
by, 17,000.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's for the administration portion of GA, not the
Right.
home relief portion.
Right.
Home relief is another.
Right. I mean,
20.
that could be health insurance. I'm trying to compare, I'm looking at line items here. Salaries slightly, looks like it's health insurance, a little bit of dental.
Well, yeah, if you factored a 7% increase, that's gonna
Right, that's
affect
main,
all the departments.
that's mainly it, right, and then in home relief, you're looking at 617 last year and 638 is what we're requesting.
Mm-hmm. 617 is what you spent, right? But we
Is what
actually,
we, right, 617 is
yeah,
what
we
we
actually
spent.
budgeted 612, so,
Right,
okay.
right.
Oh, I do have a question. This is no longer in GA. Food pantry is, what my question is, we have all this money in reserves for food pantry. of 67,000 in cash donations. And that's what your estimated revenue is for this year. I assume same is based on last. Is that how you coming up with the 67,000?
Mhm. Yep,
I mean, we did drives and such last year.
right.
Are you expecting, so you're expecting it to be about the same?
I'm being honest with you, every day, I mean, the generosity of this community is unbelievable. I mean, I'm hoping that it stays the same.
Right.
We have people dropping off food, cash, checks. We have churches, we have libraries. I mean, so many entities are holding food drives for us.
Yeah.
I wish I had a crystal ball, to foresee if this is going to continue. I'm hoping it continues.
Yeah.
But it is continuing as I currently speak. So I'm thinking if I put it in the budget, it will continue.
Yeah.
And
Well,
a huge-
my question is this. So we have that as expected revenues because that's what we have, I believe, now in revenues that's in our reserve for food pantry. So why do we continue to need to budget 20,000 for expenditures when we could be sourcing some of that money out of what is donations,
Well, according to
cash donations?
Right, that's a good question, and that's probably could be explained a little bit better by Chris, but according to our accountant, you have to have some, or maybe even Claire can comment, you have to have something to offset it, so you have to have something in expenditure to actually spend the money. So in other words, you can't spend from revenue. Is that what you're asking, Susan? Like, why don't
Yes.
we just have the money in revenue?
That is what I'm asking.
Right. So if we have to ever supplement something or we need to purchase, so we actually
Buy the
purchase
gift cards of 7,500.
gift cards for like Christmas, or we purchase boxes to actually box the food up. We actually have to have money in expenditures to actually make a purchase. You can't pull the money from a revenue line item. Does that make sense?
You're saying it has to be appropriated for the actual line item,
Right.
but we can also transfer.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yep.
So is 20,000 a just arbitrary number that we pick?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that much, right? To appropriate?
I mean,
If we-
20,000 is so if you look at actual, what we spent is 22,000. So
Mhm.
that's kind of what we spent. If you look at, we got gift cards for Thanksgiving,
Right.
gift cards for Christmas. We do spend quite a bit on the actual boxes to box up the food. Am I missing something, Austin, on what we spend that money on? Oh, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I got
Did
it.
you hear what I asked?
Yeah, you're speaking for food pantry.
Right. So we spend money on gift cards for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, boxes. What am I
Christmas.
missing? I'm sorry?
But yeah, potentially in the past, we did do things for Easter. I know that we had gotten eggs before. The boxes a lot. We did buy food at certain points throughout the pandemic when it wasn't fully opened and we were getting all the donations that we're getting. We did buy food. But yeah, that's the gist of everything.
Are you saying that the 20,000 is a realistic number, Dana? Is that what you're saying? And
Right.
Austin?
So actuals I'm looking at was 22,600. So I put in 20 for this year.
And what you're saying is we can't, it's not the, my question isn't like, we would want to obviously make sure that we're accommodating those that are in need. That's a priority for us. That's one of the statutes by law. We want to ensure that we're providing for people in need.
Right. And
We could buy more than that if there were people in need, because we do have 67,000 in reserve.
Right. So kind of what Claire said, we would just do a line item transfer.
To move the 67,000
Right.
over.
Yep.
But I mean, if we were only to budget 10,000, we could also move 30,000 over or whatever we needed.
Right. But I budgeted what I budgeted because, the board always asks me to stick around, to keep actuals, so
I stuck around, the actual number from this previous year. So I didn't really want to go much higher because I always try to stay within actuals. I mean, if you want me to change that number, I'll change that number, but
No, I mean, I guess I'm not saying no or yes. I'm saying, I mean, we could go lower and we wouldn't be hurt by it because we still have 67,000 that's in reserves that we could use for that. So.
But
you know,
that's the amount we actually spent during a pandemic. And, there's
Yeah.
no objection to it unless you have one. I mean, that you said it yourself. That's what we really are trying to do.
Yes, absolutely. I
And
just
it's
think
very,
that
it's very unpredictable right now too, where we're
Yeah.
at. Right now, we're, people are getting a little comfortable, but we really don't know.
Yeah.
There's still a lot.
No, this could be, we could be in for a lot
Yeah,
tougher
so
time.
I don't think you're advocating for changing that number.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not a number it's not even material. Can we go over any other kind of major questions? Because, I mean, we're talking about minimal changes here.
yeah, I mean, I'm just going through what I had. If you guys want to join in, that's whatever.
Yeah, my questions were covered.
Okay.
Um,
And all that, I was just taking all my notes and listening, so I'm pretty covered here. Thank you.
I guess I brought this up before. What is budgeted for the Mainly News? Can we look at that for a minute? Because I've always just felt like we don't need to have that as often. We don't need to have as many pages in it. It's an expensive.
so the Mainly News, it's about, it's around 10,000 for printing, give or take a couple thousand. It depends. I want to say about 10,000 for printing and 10,000 for postage. It goes to 53,000 households. And I can tell you and Marie is probably gonna raise her hand as she did. It's very, very, very valuable. Marie, I'm gonna let you speak.
But you know what? I
This is
just want to stop this now because now we're going way off the subject.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to say real quick that we don't want to give up the
We've
Mainly
already
News.
talked about Mainly News.
Very
We
valuable.
know that we want to talk about the cost, but that's for the next board to decide as a policy issue. Let's just set the budget. That's what
Well,
we need to
but
do.
Claire, that's a line item in the budget and we're responsible for that. That's all. That was my last.
It's not up to us to change what has been the status quo, which is Mainly News. That's what we've been doing.
Well, I brought
If
this
the
up.
new board wants to change that, they can change that as a
We set the
policy.
budget and we reduce the line item it is.
Well,
I just am asking about the line item.
I don't think that, I mean, Carrie Lynn, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think going through the budgeting process is the place to make policy changes. And Mainly News is something that we've done as a township. And so we just can't, I mean, this is my opinion, of course, but I don't think that we're here to cross out things that we decide shouldn't be done next year. That's for the next board to decide, I think.
If we're voting in the budget, that's our responsibility.
I agree with you, Claire.
Well, I would, if I can suggest that you're actually both right, you can compel changes through the budget process. That's what our job is. However, Claire is also absolutely correct. I mean, I say is correct that really, since we're not going to be here after April, it's really something that we should leave up to the next board. I mean, if we were going to be here, I would give it more consideration, but I would say it should be left up to the next.
Can I just, in closing this out, I want to know what the total amount is. And you said Marie wanted a comment though. It's basically, it goes
Well, the total amount is about 20,000 per
every time we do it, right?
20,000 per newsletter.
To print and 20, all right. And then we do it
For
4
print,
times.
postage, I have to pay a graphic designer. So by the time I'm doing all that, it's about 18 to 20,000 and I do it quarterly.
4 times a year.
4 times a year and it reaches
Talking
53,000
more.
households.
Yeah. And then we also do, obviously we do, the mainstreamers newsletter too, that gets sent out separately.
Right, that comes out of the mainstreamer budget,
The mainly news comes out of the mainstreamer budget.
our mainstreamer newsletter comes out of our mainstreamer budget.
I was asking about the mainly news.
Yeah, the mainly news.
Okay, comes out of mainstreamer. In addition, you
No,
got the main-
no. The mainly news comes out of the admin budget, admin, yeah. I think we're getting confused here.
Yeah,
Yes.
mainstreamers is main.
I was asking about mainly news, but mainstreamers, like, I know this is Claire's point, is it's a policy decision that could be made by the next board, but in setting, so that's 100,000, or that's roughly 80,000. And then the mainstreamers newsletter is roughly how much for an annual budget?
We send one out 6 times a year and it's about $1,200 for us to print.
And postage?
Postage is additional. Postage, I don't know offhand how much it is.
But didn't we reduced it? We used to send it out more often.
Yep, we used to send one out every month.
Right.
And what we even ended up doing during the pandemic, we would start copying some of the inserts, like if we were adding an insert, because we got that awesome copier now in the boardroom. So we were actually copying it ourselves and collating it and sending it out.
And how many people does that go to?
About 1,700.
Okay.
Great work.
Yes,
great work.
Susan Moylan Cry.
Thank you, Claire, trustee Claire. I just want to say a couple things about that. First of all, that's not on the agenda, number one. Number two, when people don't get the mainly news in the township,
Nobody's
they even
talking
come to
about
the
that.
clerk's office, my office, say, I didn't get the paper. You don't realize how many people do not have the internet, are not privy of that. And to let them know what's going on in a township is really significant to them.
Nobody's
It's so
changing that.
important.
Nobody's changing that right now. I think
Oh, you know what?
it's clear, we're not changing that. Well,
Well,
that's up to the next board.
even talk about it right now. It's like a mute point, and we've talked about this before. It's so
No one
important
wants
for
to
our
come up
residents.
with mainstreamers.
Yeah, please let me, I only get a little bit of a talk time here because I'm just an assessor. I'm not a trustee, but
No, you're not a voting board member, but I'm just saying, that why don't we get back to what Claire was saying? Let's
Yeah.
focus on the budget.
Focus on the
Okay,
budget,
yeah,
guys, because it's
yeah,
8:30.
exactly right.
That's right, there you go.
Thank you. Okay, so are there any other major material questions? Because I mean, we're not going line by line on this. That's not what this is about.
Thank you.
Our duties to go line by line, but we're responsible for
that?
line.
And
No,
thank you, thank you for all our department heads. Thank you.
I'm done.
Okay.
So can I?
Any
I
other
just want- I have a quick question. So I'm assuming this board is interested in passing the budget before they leave their term. And just as a reminder, and I'm sure everybody knows this, that it has to be, a tentative budget has to be on file for 30 days before it's passed. And I know Viesha, I think you put in a legal notice in the newspaper, right, Viesha? Viesha, are you there?
I will have to put it, yes. Yes, I will have to put a legal notice in, and if I will put it on the 17th, which is next Wednesday, you can have the budget hearings and pass the budget after April 15. But you will have to schedule the budget hearings as well.
Well, isn't this a budget
For
hearing?
both,
No, this is a budget workshop.
Oh, I thought this was a hearing.
yes.
Okay, hearing.
No.
No, it cannot be.
But we're
The
not-
hearing has to be, the hearing
The
it
public
has to
come
be
to
in the
hearing.
legal notice for 30 days before the hearing. That has to be a legal notice in the paper,
So now we,
30 days before.
okay.
So now we have to, if you need schedule budget hearing,
I see.
which
And that's where
can
we
be
have to give a
scheduled
30.
after April 15.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
It's
Sorry.
30 days, okay.
so we would have to vote on a tentative budget tonight in order for you to post that for 30 days? Is that
We're
what I'm
not-
hearing?
We can't vote on
I-
anything. It wasn't on the agenda to
So
vote.
we need to vote on, and just, you know, that tentative budget is the one they not presented to you. This is the tentative budget, and this can be always changed, right? At the budget hearing. You can change it, even before, between. The tentative budget is the one that they not presented, and the legal notice says that the tentative budget is in the clerk's office for the review for 30 days, and the budget hearings, the dates and the time when the budget can be passed.
And I'm
or
seeing,
even change
Carrie,
them.
Carrie,
You know, we
Carrie
not
Lynn is,
passing the budget.
Carrie Lynn is shaking her head. I'm hoping that is there?
Yeah, no, so the tentative budget has to be established by the board. So Dana's presented a draft budget, but that's not the tentative budget until the board decides it's the tentative budget. So
That's
the
when we
board
vote
would
on
need
it.
to adopt the tentative budget, and then we go into what Waisha just said about publishing it. Yeah,
So we would do that at our next, we could do it at the next board meeting on the
Yes.
31st.
Yeah, but does that give us enough time to publish before our last meeting so we can adopt? You see what I'm saying?
30 days.
Right. So I hate to say this, but we may need, because I thank goodness we had this workshop. I think it was fantastic. But I think Trustee McKenzie, I'm wondering if we would need to schedule another special meeting in order to.
Yes,
adopt
because
the
our
budget.
April meeting is April 27th and our board
Yeah.
meeting is March 31st, so we don't have 30 days.
So,
well, except remember, your terms of office are not over until the third Monday in May.
Yeah. Is that right? Because we took our oath on May
no,
17th with a new
15th.
board.
I mean,
It was
for,
May
for-
15th.
yeah, for this, for this issue, I wouldn't mind an additional meeting if that was
That's fine.
acceptable. I think that'd be, I'd have to go get my diary though.
So are we going to wait until our March meeting to talk about adopting the tentative budget?
Well, that's
Or
what
do-
my
Dave
issue
brought
is
up a good point. We don't have 30 days.
If we wait until our next meeting, we're gonna be crunching that time period. I think we need a special meeting beforehand.
So
Before,
next week?
yeah,
Wait a minute, why? Because you would have 30 days because we don't get sworn in till May 7th, or the next group doesn't get sworn in till May. So you still
I-
have the March meeting and you have the April meeting.
I would be more comfortable if by if on our April meeting, our actual set regular meeting, we're able to have the budget done and adopted.
But why?
That would- The only thing that would require is that we have an additional meeting in order to adopt the budget, to adopt the tentative.
Why
budget.
can't we do that at the March meeting?
Carrie
March
Lynn, can you-
23 March
Can we just get a
23.
legal opinion on this? So if we did it, just playing it out, Dave, because I think you raise a very, very good point. We just want to make sure. If we did it on the 31st, then of March, 30 days after that point would be, the 30th would be after our April meeting. That's why it's a
Wait,
problem.
why
Right.
would it be the 31st? Our meeting is before the 31st.
Our
Right,
meeting is March
It's
30th,
the 30.
30th,
Oh, 30th, okay.
right?
Yeah, I initially thought it was the 23rd, but I think it's the 30th.
No, it was changed. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it was changed. That's
30,
why.
Not changed, but we set the meeting for the new,
Right.
so it's the 30th and then it's the 27th. So
Why
we
don't we
don't have, we don't have
change-
30 days.
why don't we change the meeting a week earlier and then we don't have to have a special meeting? We could just do it on the week earlier, the 23rd, or whatever the date is.
No, we set the date. I can't make that. We set the
Yeah,
date.
we changed that date for a reason, if I remember, right?
Yes. Well, we didn't, it was a suggested date, but yes.
Yeah, it was a suggested date, but then there was
We
a
set it
con.
for the whole year, so we set it for the first time on the 30th and I can't make the 23rd.
Right.
Okay, can you make another day before that time? So that we don't have to have a special meeting? Because I mean, we covered it pretty much tonight. I don't know how much more we, need to go over it.
Next week?
N- n-
You for the whole board meeting next week or just a special? Because I don't think they're going to be ready with a board packet next week.
No, we won't have the bills ready. We can't do the whole board meeting.
No,
We could do a special.
just a special meeting.
Just to adopt the tentative budget.
Mhm.
I don't understand why we need a special budget, a special meeting.
We don't have 30
Just
days.
adopt the one that was presented.
When
What
is
was
our
that?
last day of office, Carrie Lynn?
Like sometimes
The newly elected officials get sworn in the third Monday in May. So,
That's the 17th.
yes,
So we're in office until that we are responsible for any township business up till that point.
yes.
So we do have 2 weeks. Dave,
What's that now?
I'm saying if we did it on the 31st, if we went ahead and just
No, we would have time,
approve the
but it would be after the April meeting, and I would be much more regular meeting, and I would be much more comfortable that two things. One, that we have it done on or before we get it done by the April meeting. But also, if something goes wrong and we need a little more time, we still have that little cushion, from what I understand. But I would rest better if we had the budget passed at the April meeting.
Okay, well, we could, I mean, something has to be posted by tomorrow, the 12th, and to have it next week, if we just picked a day, next Tuesday, and just bet for, whatever, just should be a very quick meeting
Yeah, it should be very quick, yeah.
on the 16th of March. I move to set the date for a
Second.
special meeting on the 16th of March. Is there a second to that?
Second.
I just want you to know, I'm going to be out of town.
Oh.
So as much as I would, zoom in if that's possible, if that's allowed. I just don't know about timing because I have a meeting that starts at, I'm not sure because I'm in a different time zone. Hold on a second.
Is there a better day?
Next
Is Monday
Tuesday-
better?
Tuesdays
Well, I'm going to
don't-
be on vacation with my family. So, I'm going to have things
do it
to
late.
do.
Yeah, we could do it late.
No, that Tuesday does not work for me. Maybe
It doesn't.
Wednesday.
What day works for you, Kim?
Well,
Kim?
the thing is, we're gonna be doing dinners and things, every day. So, I'm happy to try to get on. I just want you guys to know I might not get on because if I'm in the middle of something or if I can't get on Zoom, that's not the end of the world. You guys can carry on without me. I know. I just want to let you know, just in case there's no quorum,
Would having it on the Tuesday, the 23rd, does that help us at all?
I can't do that week.
Oh, that's right. You said you can't do that week. Okay. Yeah, you said that. And Claire, you're on vacation all that week before?
Yeah, Sunday to Sunday. And like I said, it's not like every minute is going to be absorbed by my family, but I don't want to be so tied to this that I can't go to dinner with my family. You know what I mean? And this
I
would,
would say if we did an 8 o'clock on the 16th for like 20 minutes, is about all it would take.
I'm going to be in California, so that's 6.
Kim can't do that day.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
Kim can't do that.
But
day.
why
Can you do
you're not available the whole week, the following week, the whole week?
No.
You're not available for 20 minutes?
No, Claire
I-
said she is,
No,
and she's gonna do her best. We're talking about you now, Kim. You said you
No,
can't.
no, we're
What
talking
about the 15th? Does that work?
The 15th?
I'm
How about-
asking
I
Susan
don't-
why she's not available.
Because I have
for 20 minutes
commitments. Yeah,
the whole week.
So
yes.
what
So
about the
Can we
15th?
do
How about,
earlier?
So do it.
Let's do it
Can we
earlier.
do earlier in the day?
Sure.
Well, we can, and Carrie Lynn, what is the rule on how early we can do it? Because it's got to be an open meeting.
There's not a rule. I mean, there's not a rule with respect to the time of the meeting. It has to be open and convenient. So if you want to do it at 4 PM, you want to do it at 3 PM, you want to do it at 10 AM?
We could do, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do 4 PM. Is that possible on the 16th
So that's 2
15.
PM.
or 15th? 15th, okay.
Does that allow us enough time for the Open Meetings Act if we get it posted tomorrow, the 12th, Friday?
Yes, it only needs to be posted for 48 hours.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
so that's 48 hours of weekend time. Okay.
Okay, so you're
15th?
saying
15th
4
on Monday
PM
at 4
Chicago
PM.
time?
Yeah, 4 PM Chicago time, if that's good for you, Claire, on the 15th.
Yeah, it looks like it is, but again, you guys, I don't want to be like wishy-washy here, but
It's fine
we're-
with me.
we're going to a family vacation, and I don't want to have to say no to something because of a 20-minute meeting.
We
So
will,
I
I
won't be
think,
doing that. I won't go on the Zoom if it's gonna, you know,
I think,
cause me to not be with my family. I'm sorry. I have
I
very
think-
few days.
I think we could stipulate that we would go along with any of the partying noise that goes on in the background coming.
Okay,
from
well,
that.
if I can bring you with me, I will. For
Done.
sure. I will
Okay.
bring my computer to wherever I
So
go
I
and
moved
I
to
will
set it
get on.
I moved to set the meeting for a tentative budget hearing or not a
Set the
hearing,
tentative budget.
a tentative budget adoption on the 15th of March at 4 PM.
Second.
Well, I hope Laura can make it.
Did you say March 15, Monday?
Right.
Yes.
March, in a second.
This will give me time to put it in the paper on the 17th.
Yeah,
And then,
that's right.
and then when
That's
you
right.
guys want the budget hearings at the
That's
same
right.
time as the board,
Mhm.
yes?
Yes, yeah.
But when we have the board meeting, before the board meeting,
Mhm.
On
we
March
have to
15th.
have scheduled the budget. No, March 15 is you just adopting the tentative budget to put it on file
For 30 days.
Right. For 30 days. And then after 30 days, you can have hearings for both, for town fund and for road district. Usually we had it 7 o'clock because usually it's supposed to be very short hearing, 15 minutes. This is what it was always. Not with you guys though.
We should set the date now for that hearing of like April
Yes,
April
please.
20th or something, or we can do it right before the board.
Or we can do it before
The
the
board
board
meeting on the
meeting on
27th?
the
On the 27th.
Yes.
yeah.
We
So
can't
that's
make it
usually
part
what
of
we
the
do.
board meeting?
Yes, it can be right before, like
Yes.
we've done it in the past couple of years where we have it from 7 to 7:15.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
So-
and 7:15 to 7:30.
Here we go.
Mhm.
But we do have
Yes.
bill pay, so we have to either do bill pay, and do it in advance and earlier.
Yeah,
and-
well,
So we could start at 7. So, okay, so I move to set the budget hearing for the 27th of April at 7 PM,
Second.
Wait, okay.
Or town
so that's
fund.
not- it's
which
not
is
on your
during bill
agenda?
pay, but we have to finish bill pay before
That's
then.
not on our agenda, Susan.
Yeah, so put that on your agenda for your special meeting too, for Monday. So it's listed on the agenda. So we'll put adopt the tentative budget, set the public hearing, okay?
Perfect.
Okay. Not doing that right now. Okay.
Oh, we wait, Carrie Lynn, we can't.
Yeah, we
just
make
do
it
that now?
part of the agenda for our next meeting on Monday.
Okay.
It's a very good idea. Okay.
Okay,
So our next board meeting is March 30th.
Regular one.
yes.
Wasn't in my calendar.
Yes. Yes, March 30th.
Because we're in a new fiscal year.
Fifth Tuesday. Mhm.
And then what's our April one, just so I have, because I don't, am I correct? April 27th is the April one?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. So that concludes today's agenda. Can I have a motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn.
Second.
Can you call the roll?
Trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
And
Okay.
thank you to all of our department heads, and thank you, Claire, for an
Yes.
excellent job chairing.
Oh,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Dana.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you,
Aisha.
department
Thank
head.
you. Thanks, everyone.
Dana,
Yes,
if you can
thank
just,
you.
if
See you,
you can
Austin.
email us the salary, you know, the elected official salary, let us all know the breakdown of all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.